Yo, the market continued to move higher. It made a new high. Is this sustainable? Can it make new ones? I'm going to show you how and why it's important to read this thing over here in Stocks and Hip Hop. Yo, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping back in. If this is your first time, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button when you find that this is of value to you. I have tried so hard to learn how to read charts in the past, and it wasn't until what I am doing now actually helped me. And if you've had that same struggle, I'm going to help you right now overcome that struggle and make this simple. So make sure you hit that subscribe. We do this every week in order to help you learn how to read charts. It is important because we always follow the money. A chart read is simply following the money. So let's go ahead and follow the money right now. S&P closed at 6,101.24 cents. The last video that we just did talked about where the two price targets were. We had the record high as a target, and then we had our close around that 6,100 area was the target area. And here we are, only about $1 off from there. So great read from there. We talked about how that 20-day moving average always served as some type of support, and it did bounce off of there one more time, and we did hit a record high of 6,128.18, and we closed around 6,101. So let's make this very simple. Where can we go from here? You know it. Let's get our two price targets. Now, the trick that I use every time in order to read a chart is accurate, as I have done multiple times here. And when you look at the videos, is I simply look at where the candles have closed before. That is it. All you need to do is look at the tops and bottoms of the candles, and you will kind of find out where things will likely head to. So using that very simple trick, where do you think the market can likely go to? We are at the record highs right now. And this is where things get a little tricky because we don't have any other top or bottom to really gauge things. So we look at ranges, and the market tends to move in about $200 ranges. So if the market does continue to move higher, I have a price target right now around that 6,200 area for it to likely move to if it did make new highs. So new high targets will be 6,200. Downside target is if this does continue to hold up to be as resistance. If it is resistance, then we're likely to move back down to around this 5,800 area. Why? Because you can see the candles were closing around there before. We have two there. We've had a couple of them here. So that gives me a very good thought process that the price will likely return there if it does move lower. So 5,800 is the low side target. High side target would be new highs to gain to around that 6,200 area. So S&P is done. That one is done. Let's check out what we do normally over here, and that's IWM. IWM, we use that in order to track the Russell. The Russell closed at $228.69, and our target from last week was for it to remain close to around that 230 area, and it did just that. We've got a spinning top, and if you're not familiar with a spinning top candle, that is just an indecisive move. Indecision around a resistance area is going to have to be proven out, and that's going to have to be proven out by a close above that resistance area with strength. If we continue to have resistance around this area, then it will likely move lower. So because we don't have that confirmation yet, we cannot make a conclusive decision there. Let's go ahead and look at the chart to see where we can likely go. All right, so where can we go from here? All right, let's get our price targets. We stayed steady around here, and we can see that before we've had a candle that was actually pretty high, right? So we can have an upside target right now where that candle closed at. That's as easy as it's going to be when it comes to the reading of a chart. So we closed before around that 232, 233 area. That's our upside target. So upside target right now is if we can regain where we've fallen from before to get back to around this 233 area. So IWM upside target right now is around 233. Downside target, let's go ahead and look where the chart has been before. This has been resistance. If we've talked about this before, it's got a long history of being resistance at this 230 area. And if it does continue to be resistance, it will likely come back to where we just climbed from. And that was around that 225 area. So downside target right now is around that 225 area. So upside target around 233, downside target around 225. Next on the list is the Dow. There we go, DJI. Dow closed at $44,424.25. Last week we talked about this and we had our price targets around that 45,000 area. Yet again, I continue to slip when it comes to the Dow numbers. So 45,000 area was our upside target last week. We got pretty close there. We're at 44,000 and that's not bad. So where can we go from here? Let's make it simple. 2 price targets, and we do this every week to make it easy for you to understand. Follow the money. Upside target is still to get back to around this 45,000 area. We did not quite complete the job this week's close, and I think that if the market does continue to move higher, we'll likely retest its highs that it made around that 45,073. I think we can get back to around that 45,000 area if the market continues to push higher. Downside target. Downside target is if this does remain as resistance. If we do get up there and it does reject, where can we likely move down to? We'll look for where those candles were at before. I'm going to actually zoom in one more. There, candles are nice and fat and juicy for you right now. We can see that this was resistance and we've got a lot of activity in this area here. A lot of activity there. We've gotten there before. So that 42,000 area seems to be a very sticky point. So that's our downside target. Downside target is going to be that 42,000 area. So upside to get close to those record highs at 45,000, downside is going to be the 42,000 area. And lastly, we're going to talk about the Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been very resilient, and we're going to see if it has the juice to keep going. $21,774 and a penny. And if we look at the chart right now, we can see that we got close to those highs. Our last week's target was to get to around that 22,000 area, and we're very, very close there. We've made yet again a spinning top, resembles what happened on the IWM, the Russell, and that is indecision. Indecision near the highs. We need to see some confirmation happen in order for us to get a very strong read on what the market has to offer. So where can we go from here? Let's take a look at the chart. The chart will give us what we need. Follow the money. Upside targets right now is for us to remain close near this record high. We've gotten pretty close there this week and it topped off and fell down, but we've got a spinning top. We want to see confirmation. So we need to remain close around this 22,000 area. Downside target, it's going to remain the same as last week as well. And that's because we didn't really go too much further. And that downside target is going to be around that 21,000 area. And you can see that we've got a lot of candles around there, right? Remember, the trick is look at where the closes are. The closes are near that 21,000 area. We've got quite a few, and this is where it can likely move to. So upside target is to remain tight around that 22,000 area. Downside target is if this moves lower to get back to that 21,000 area. All right, let's wrap it up. Okay, so we kept it simple. All right, I showed you the trick that I use in order to help me get better at chart reading. There was a time in my life where I was very terrible at this. I thought I was good and I was not. However, now I am very, very good at this, and I'm showing you my tricks now. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like what you heard. And we do this every week, and this is to help sharpen our skills every time we read a chart. And we do it with hip hop. Nobody else does it like that. So thank you for sticking around to the end. Let's do our recap. Recap right now is that the S&P has made record highs, and we want to see if it is sustainable or not. Will it continue? And if it does, we have an upside target around 6,200 right now. So 6,200 upside target if it does continue to move higher. We want to see that do that. If it doesn't, then we want to maintain that support area that we came from. IWM has also shown, well, I said has also, IWM has shown some indecision at its resistance area around that 230 area. And we talked about last week how we had the resistance and then we've had current price action creeping higher, and we would likely remain close to there to put pressure on that price, and we did just that. So I'm looking to see if we can continue to put pressure on that to push higher, and that upside target is around that 233 area. We got the Dow. The Dow has continued its strong rebound. It got close to its record highs around that 45,000 area. Around that 44 is where we got to. I would like to see for it to continue its move to actually get to those record highs and attempt to make a new one. And then we have the Nasdaq that we just talked about, which remained pretty range bound for the week, and it was around that 22,000 area, and I would like to see it remain close around there while the other indexes also attempt to push on their targets. So right now my read is that because we closed pretty high on all of our indexes, we have a chance of testing out highs or creating a new one, at least on a couple of indexes, in order to see the market maintain itself. Is this sustainable? What is sustainability now in 2025? We're going to see. So I think the market has a really good chance of actually cooling down for this year. I really see it remaining flat for the year. That's my belief, and it's also my chart read. So continue to watch along, and I will show you why I believe that in future videos. Thank you again for stopping by here. Share this with a friend if you love what you heard. Keeping it simple. I want you to continue to do the 3 things that I always talk about every single video, because finances is cool. I love doing this every single week. My main point is to help you take care of you. So drink your water, get your exercise, and spend time with people that you love. Because at the end of the day, we all want more time, not more money. All right. Do those 3 things and you'll be just fine. All right. Thank you. Check me out next week. Peace.